Well, Matt, while everybody else was playing the Battlefield 6 beta, you were just playing Stardew Valley this whole time.
This entire time, yeah.
You missed out on it.
Actually,
You were
that
asking me
and the
how
new
Oh,
and the new Call of Duty season.
oh, right. You were like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
heard
yeah.
there was like a new Nicki Minaj skin in there, and you were
Right.
very excited about it. Wouldn't stop
Very much so.
DMing me about the new Minaj
Yeah.
skin. But so since you didn't play it, I can tell you all about the beta. It was pretty good.
Well, is it really all that good? Because last I looked, it dropped 99% of its player base overnight. So,
That's true. That is true.
can
That's
it really
a good
be
headline.
that good? Yeah.
I saw that Reddit post as well. Fantastic post because it was very much making fun of most internet headlines these days, sensationalize everything.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of the big news is that one, people seem to like Battlefield 6, and two, it hit over 500,000 concurrent players on Steam, breaking the Call of Duty Steam record, which is it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
It's cool. It's neat. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't really mean much. It's
Doesn't
bragging
mean a thing.
rights. Yeah.
It doesn't
it's
mean anything at
bragging
all.
Rights. Yeah. But it bodes well. Certainly. There's been a lot of people coming back to watch Battlefield content on my channel. It's been a huge amount of renewed interest in the franchise. The Steam numbers are crazy. We all got to play it. It's a small pie slice of the game.
Yeah.
And the beta, you can burn through kind of a lot of what the beta offers pretty quickly, but it's fun. It's fun to keep burning through it, man.
I played it 4 days in a row.
That's intense.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
On day 4, how are you feeling?
Felt good. Yeah. First 2 days I played solo, and then the next 2 days I played with buddies, and solo was good. Solo was fine. Playing with buddies is like next level.
Nice.
It's really fun.
I found like when the first few days of the beta, the chaoticness of some of those maps, I was just like, man, what are these angles? Like, this is all over the place. There's people in every corner, blah, blah, blah. And then
you get used to it.
As you get used to it, you get the map knowledge down. You're like, all right, I'm in the groove now. Yep. And I was like, hitting the top of the scoreboard back to back to back. I'm like, I'm in it, boys. I'm in it. So it felt good. What are the big things that everybody's talking about? There's sort of the map sizes being a little small. People
the maps, yeah. So there's the complaint that it plays that the one that I saw early on was that this is COD Field 6.
Yeah.
And I do completely agree that the maps are on the smaller end. There's no arguing that.
Yes.
All 3 that they showed off for this so far, this beta, are on the medium to small scale. Yep. Liberation Peak is more of a medium map. I would even argue Siege of Cairo is more of a medium style map.
Yeah,
but like the Iberian Offensive is small. And they're not going to help themselves next beta weekend where they introduce Empire State, which is literally just infantry only.
Yeah.
And it's going to make that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a truly small map. Yeah. But I don't see it as being Call of Duty. I was never my experience was not Call of Duty when I was playing at all.
It feels like
slightest.
I think you made a good point last podcast where you said it's sort of, and I would say this is almost even like more extreme than it was as an analogy, but BF3 had that close quarters DLC with the Zeba Tower and all the other close quarter maps. And the whole point of the DLC was to just release these tight-knit infantry packed maps that were just going to like be constant action the whole time. And those maps were significantly smaller than the maps that we're playing.
They were way
on.
smaller.
They were so tiny and just insane and kind of terrible.
They were silly.
Really.
They were They were fun. They were fun, but they weren't great.
They were fun.
Not 64 players.
It was like smashing your face against just bullets for like 20 minutes straight. You're just like, all right, here we go. Let's spawn into bullets. And it still plays like Battlefield is the thing. Even Battlefield on a really tiny map doesn't play like Call of Duty.
Right.
There's similarities because you got that crazy chaotic pacing. But I think the general impression of a Battlefield game is the idea of these bigger militaristic maps where you're like, all right, you got your binoculars out and you're like, I see tanks across the field, like let's head to Bravo.
But no one plays like that. But yeah.
Right. But that's kind of how you imagine the game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and there's a little more traversal in a more traditional Battlefield map where you're getting into vehicles and you're making your way, and there's not really a lot of that in the current beta.
There's not.
No. They have 2 maps out of the 9, okay, maybe 3. 2 or 3 maps out of the 9 that seem like they're going to be large maps.
I think it was 2.
Yeah, it might have been 2, which does seem a little bit on the lighter side.
It does. I think in general, this is going to be a smaller infantry-focused battlefield, at least at the beginning. We'll see what they do with like future maps and stuff. Like if they're like, oh, hey, community's really asking for larger maps, let's maybe give them some of those.
Yeah. I think medium maps have always been the sweet spot, and then to like kind of branch off. Like if you're going through a map cycle while you're playing and you're like, okay, let's transition. Like hitting 2 medium maps, a large map, and a small map feels like a nice balance.
Yeah.
In terms of just like giving players enough variety, because I personally don't like playing only large maps or only small maps or only medium maps. I like mixing it up. It keeps it fresh. It keeps it interesting. So hopefully it's so hard to critique it based on the beta. And like we said before, I think the maps we're playing on the beta aren't necessarily like them showing off what they think is their best content, but just what is done and ready to show off.
I will admit, I love Siege of Cairo.
Cairo's fantastic.
I love that map. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. It's up there with like, I think it can stand next to Strike at Karkand, like I think it's
it gives that vibe. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I do like Karkand's vertical shifts a little bit more, but
there's more of that. Yeah.
Cairo's still pretty impressive. And from the building fights to the tank fights to the like in the crater in the middle of the street under the bus fights, like it's fun. It looks good. The VFX of all the smoke and buildings coming down, just like it's a map to really showcase the game and what it can do.
Yeah.
What'd you think about Liberation Peak?
A little bit more mixed on Liberation Peak. It's basically an actual more traditional Battlefield map in the sense that it actually has a wider array of vehicles. You got helicopters, jets, and tanks. I think you get 2 tanks on each side. Yeah. And there's like a AA that spawns on the map. It narrows around the C and the D point, and so that kind of funnels people into those different sections, but it still gives people routes to be able to move around, because you don't want to have a situation like you did back in Battlefield 5. There's a couple maps where it literally just got bogged down on like one point, and you just never you couldn't push through. So it was okay. I liked it as just a map. Not my favorite out of the bunch for sure, but it was okay. A lot of sniping.
I found it very on that map. Very whelming as a map.
I'm whelmed by it. It's not a bad map, but it's okay.
Yeah. What do you think in sort of doing this in a video today, or my sort of review of the beta, but after like kind of being with it for a bit longer, it felt like they were kind of chasing that Battlefield 3 visual style where they take the color spectrum and they color grade it very heavily towards this more muted style. And so while I was playing on the Peak map, Liberation Peak, I was thinking about like Norvik from Battlefield 5 or like Mont de Grappa from Battlefield 1 with like these beautiful green hills and a blue sky. And then we're on Liberation Peak. We're surrounded by snowy mountaintops. And I'm like, this is this is kind of an ugly map, if I'm being honest, but it should be beautiful. Like it's objectively, we're looking at beautiful scenery, but they've taken all that beautiful colors and they've compressed it down into just a bunch of browns and grays.
I noticed that too with Iberian Offensive as well.
Yes.
It just it doesn't look like, I think that not only is Siege of Cairo's map layout, I think great, but I think it's more colorful. It just looks, I just think it looks like a better visually impressive map. Not just because of the graphics, but just the colors and everything.
Yes.
And then you do get to the Iberian Offensive, and it's just muted and it's kind of green everywhere. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Everything exists within a similar color spectrum. It's like everything's either going to be brown or kind of grayish green or like dark brownish, and you're
Yeah,
like,
it's like, are they trying to simulate the fact that there's smoke in the air because it's war? And
yeah.
I don't know.
I
I found that to be a little annoying too.
I
Small
think,
critique in the grand scheme of things, but
yeah, I think it's fixable. People were mentioning how in Battlefield 5 was that urban map that they showed off during the beta a lot. It was had the train crossing over like a dense city.
I know what you're talking about. Rotterdam.
Yeah, Rotterdam. So when they're showing off Rotterdam, it also had a much more muted color palette. And then later in development, it seems like they kind of toned down the color grading a bit because they're like, yeah, it is way better looking when we let all the colors shine and it looks nice and saturated. So maybe they could tone it back a bit in this. I hope so, because Cairo looked great, but if all the other maps look like what's the other city map that you were just saying?
Empire State and Iberian Offensive.
Empire State's another one that I would say is.
It also looked kind of muted
ugly.
too. Yeah. Very gray. Very gray.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of artists did a lot of really good work, and then the color guy was just like, all right, now let's just crush it down.
I agree.
Yeah, so I hope they can dial that back. It seems nitpicky, but I mean, ultimately, if you're spending hundreds of hours in a video game,
staring at it for a long time,
you want it to look nice. And I kept thinking about Arc Raiders a little bit, and I was like, game has such lush, vibrant colors. You know, it's so beautiful to look at. You're standing and looking at it, vistas, and like, man, this game looks so good. And
but still dystopian.
Yeah. And there wasn't a lot of moments in Battlefield 6 where I was like, damn, look at that scene. And I think I've had one of those moments in just about every Battlefield game that's come out. And not so much in BF6 yet. And I think that's really just kind of a color thing so far. And also being smaller scale maps, it's less impressive visually because you're not staring out over a massive battlefield.
Over a vista,
Yeah. So you don't really have those vista moments per se. Now that you've spent some time with it, closed and open weapons, man.
Closed weapons, 100%.
Yes, I am full closed weapons. I've also got a little bit of a bone to pick with their class design. I think they really screwed it up this time.
How so? Extrapolate.
We talked about it a little bit last podcast, and you mentioned how you really liked Battlefield 5's sort of weapon system, and the way that they kind of each class has like a list of weapons to pick from, right? And and they don't really, there's not like a lot of overlap, but the weapons give you a bit of variety. Like the sniper class will get bolt actions, but then it'll have like one or two SMG options and a few automatic pistols and stuff to just mix it up. And like support gets the shotguns and the LMGs and stuff. And it's sort of like a curated weapon list specifically for that class. And you gives you flexibility. You're not completely locked into one engagement range, but it's also a stylistic choice for that class. And so that went a really long way for making classes feel much more sort of playing their role, having a stylistic choice to them. But also, I think they screwed up a lot by putting medic and support as one class this time around. I think they robbed us of what would be a much better class balance and class personas, where right now they're trying to fix the assault, because the assault is just like, I get two guns, and people are
so
like,
you think they should have the ammo bag? Yeah.
And assault. So the BF1 and BF5, I think both did this, where the assault class had the anti-armor weapons. And I think that worked out pretty darn well. And then the medic got like lots of smoke gadgets and healing stuff and all that. And then the recon had all the spawning, the spawning, and long range. And then support was like ammo, a little bit of anti-armor, and like suppressive weapons and indirect fire weapons and stuff like that. And it just felt more cohesive. And I remember thinking, like, both BF1 and BF5, I would feel the urge to switch to all of those classes sometimes throughout the course of one match. I'd be like, oh, time to spawn in support so I can help these guys out with this. Or oh man, there's a lot of armor pushing up. Let's spawn as assault and work on the armor. And like, oh, there's a huge field here. Let's spawn as recon so we can take out these guys covering the ridge or something like that. Those games really had me switching around a lot and adapting, and I'm not feeling that urge kind of at all in BF6. And I think it's because they've not done a very good job with the class balance, where I think like support is hands down the most useful class for a team, you know, and then like engineer if there's armor, but otherwise kind of supports a one size fits all. Recon useful for spotting, sure, but the assault is like at the moment completely. You could just delete it and you'd be fine.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Yeah,
and even within those 3 remaining classes, it's really just support. Support's kind of like the I'm really an assault class, pretending to be support.
Well, yes, except if you are in the closed weapon system and you're not able to use the assault rifles and stuff.
Yeah. So I don't think they're going to go with closed. I think they're kind of put it out there to calm the furor.
God, I hope they do though, because it's so good.
It's so much better.
I think it's better. I think it's way better.
I noticed maybe second day of the beta or something, or one day over the weekend, they still had the single closed weapon conquest up there for the playlist. And I joined, and we couldn't get a match going. It was like 8 players, 10 players. Back
really?
then, 8 players.
I literally never had an issue with that my entire time.
So weird. I tried to get a game of closed weapons going, and I couldn't get one started, which made me concerned that everybody was just playing open weapons and that DICE is going to look at the data and be like, well, nobody wanted to play closed weapons, so open weapons.
No, I didn't have that issue at all.
Okay.
And I played it closed almost exclusively the entire weekend.
Yeah.
So I agree and disagree in some capacities. I completely agree the assault class in its current implementation, the beta, is stupid. It has no function other than it's a weapon. And that's fine in some extent, right? Like it's cool to be aggressive and you regenerate your health faster than any other class, so you don't really need to be as reliant on a medic, which I kind of found to be neat. So you could like rush in there, take some damage, duck behind cover, wait a couple of seconds, get back up and start retaliating. You can get 2 different weapons, which is kind of cool, where you can bounce between the 2 depending on the situation.
Then you have not really ammo. You have no ammo.
You have no ammo. Yeah. Well,
weapon.
if you pick 1, you get the full amount. If you choose 2, it separates it between the 2. So if you just pick 1 primary and then you should bring like the 2 grenade launcher secondaries, you will have full ammo. I liked using the thermobaric or whatever it's called grenade launcher to like stun people and then round the corner when they can't aim down sight and they're burning and just take them out like real easy. That felt like a really fun support gadget. Yeah, really like that one a lot. So as like a aggressive just weapon, you're just in there doing damage, felt pretty good. Yeah. But as is in terms of class and team dynamic, not really providing anything at all.
Yeah.
When it gets the spawn beacon, I think that'll change a lot because it kind of fits that whole get into like a building, clear it out with your gadgets, and then plant your beacon, and then you can have your team spawn there, and now you got a new front line. And I think that'll be massive. I think that'll be really big.
Do you think Recon's going to get shafted?
I have no idea what's going to happen to Recon in that regard. Yeah,
because that was one of Recon's best things, and they're just like
Recon's
assault
identity
sucks so much now that we have to give it something. Take the support. It feels like they had a terrible plan from the start. They didn't really think about it too much on paper, and now they're trying to Band-Aid the hell out of it. And
maybe
I think we're just going to get some crummy classes, but it's not going to ruin the game because, as we've stated,
it's still really fun.
BF3 was a class nightmare if you really look at that game, you know?
Yeah.
90% of the player base is playing Assault, and the other classes are like, once in a while I'll try it out. And you're like, boy, that's kind of disappointing for a weapon-locked game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I actually think that, hypothetically, the Assault class with a deploy beacon will be really good for that class, and it fits the role really well. I think that'll be really helpful. We still haven't seen what the other gadgets are going to be for every single one of the classes, because we know that there's going to be a sledgehammer. We know that there's going to be a ladder. We know of all these, I'm assuming there's going to be some other stuff for every other class, right?
Yeah.
But until we get that, we don't know what's going to happen to Recon and what their gadget will look like.
Yeah.
Also, in terms of the support
how many
class,
people are going to get spawned with that ladder? Let's be real.
I'm actually a little worried about the latter because people are already exploiting to get to places on top of the roof on Siege of Cairo, and I'm worried that that's just going to be a tool that people use to get into these really stupid locations that they're not supposed to, and then just break the flow of the maps.
I'm surprised that DICE has made the roofs not out of bounds. That's
I think they're gonna fix that.
This has been a problem since the dawn of Battlefield. Like, I mean, you remember BF3? They had so many roof exploit spots. I mean, you could get the spawn.
4 had a lot of annoying spots too.
Do you remember you could get the spawn beacon in BF3's TDM mode, and then it would parachute you in when you spawned on it, and so you just parachute into the top of buildings that nobody else could get to, and you just kill them all from up there. And that was just like, DICE was just like, spawning. Oh, whatever. Yeah, whatever. We're not going to patch it. That game never got patched. It was just like,
it was awkward.
Broken forever. Yeah.
Yeah. So silly. The one that I really remember was No Shark Canals, where they would get onto the crane up there. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Classic.
It was good old days.
The good old days back when developers were expected to patch their game in like a timely manner or like fix problems.
Mm-hmm.
Things where you're like, hey, players are exploiting this. And like, yeah, that sucks. And you're like, all right.
It's too bad.
It's too bad. Get a custom
server.
So
I'm a bit worried about the ladder. I'm also like, we'll see how the ladder functions, because it looked really cool in the trailer when they're all running up their ladder and they're all busting into the building.
That will never ever happen in a match.
That's my thought is like, how often is it going to happen? Because you could have just walked up the stairs that's 2 feet away instead of using the ladder to get. So maybe there's some buildings and some maps where it'll be really helpful to be able to get into like a second story, where like the ground floor is just a facade or like just a wall that you can't get into, and then you can use the ladder to get up, right? To get flanking. I don't know. We'll see. So
it could be really useful in the battle royale. Actually, maybe that's where its main use actually is going to be. Where they're like, yeah, you can use it in conquest if you really want to, and then in battle royale, it'll be like, oh, these guys are in this building.
They can actually get into different buildings that they normally wouldn't have that.
Or you can flank the guy, watching the stairs or something. Going through the window
where there's a lot less explosions and stuff. Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point.
It'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out, because trying to balance gadgets for one general game style versus a battle royale, like, it could get crazy. I hope they kind of separate some of that stuff a bit more, where they're like, this is just an exclusive battle royale gadget, and now we don't have to try and make everything work for everything. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I completely agree. The support class, I think, is very strong.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually like, so without a doubt, the fact that they get both meds and ammo is powerful. There's no getting around that. But the reason why I like it is we now have ammo on the ground, which in past Battlefields never goddamn happened. Support players never drop ammo in past Battlefield games. But people need health all the time, and they specifically need health too. So usually you get people putting down med bags all the time in Battlefield, because they know that if they get hit, they need to heal themselves, and so they're more likely to place it down. A support player with 500 rounds and a goddamn magazine isn't going to have to reload very often, so they're not going to need ammo very often, so they'll hardly ever put ammo down selfishly.
Yeah.
So this gives it a reason to, have both, because they're going to need health readily.
They're fixing the fundamental support problem, Matt. Yeah.
So I actually don't think it's the worst thing ever. There's a lot of ammo being tossed around, but is that really the worst thing that could happen? I still have moments where I run out of rounds.
Yeah. I was going to say Battlefield's like health system has gone through so many changes depending on which game you play. But this one is just like the self-healing happens very quickly. When you're
if you're playing as the assault, other classes can be a bit slow. It can feel a little slower.
Gotcha.
But I guess I haven't compared the two.
Yeah, I guess if you're comparing it with like BF5's more attrition style system, where you actually needed medics to top off your health once you took enough damage.
Yes, but also you do get a med bag for every single class when you spawn on in. So if you take damage and you're like, oh, I need to get back into the action right away, you just hit 5 or whatever the key was, and you just immediately start to heal.
But then once you're out of it,
once you're out of that, you're out of it. but you can quickly go over to a station that's around the map, grab one of those from there, and then you're back and you're ready to go.
It's true.
So it's oddly, it's like sometimes a lot faster in Battlefield 5 because you get into engagement.
Oh yeah.
Hit that when you're like, about when you took a lot of damage, and then just get back in the action very fast. Mm-hmm. But yes, I do hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not jiving with the balance of the classes.
That's fair.
Yeah. And let's move on from classes though. What do you think about the other thing that I see is discussed quite a bit is spotting, visibility, light dark transitions. Like it's not in a great spot. I would say
a terrible spot, but it's awkward.
The spotting is aggressive.
We mentioned this last time with the passive spotting. Yeah. I didn't test it, but I don't. So I think people are assuming that when you are looking at someone and an icon pops over their head when no one else is nearby, that icon is spotting it for everyone on your team.
I don't think it is.
And I think people are making the assumption that you are passively spotting everyone that you are looking at, which I don't think is actually happening.
I believe with the recon class, when you ADS and it does the auto spot, then your teammates can see it.
And the points pop up. Yeah. Then yes. Yep.
Yeah. But otherwise, no, I think it's just for you. But one of the things I kept running into, and this was common on the other city map that I still can't remember the name of.
Iberian Offensive.
There's a lot of dark windows in that map.
Yes.
Yeah. And because of the light dark, so the light dark thing is basically a exposure. It's auto exposure, just like a camera or your phone would have. They've decided to add that into video game post-processing.
To your eyeballs.
Because it's so cool. It's like real life, bro. It adapts to the amount of light. The problem with that is if you're outdoors on a bright day and there's a dark room, the exposure will make that darker and the outside lighter, and now you can't see anything inside, which makes it great for camping in a building, but it sucks on a map that has tons and tons of windows and you're just like getting dropped from windows all the time. So now I found myself just like scanning the windows. You see a diamond pop up and then you shoot the diamond. And I'm like, this isn't how I want to play Battlefield. I don't like this. This is problematic. And it's a combination of a lot of little problems coming together to create sort of a bigger problem in my mind.
I noticed that I was shooting at Doritos a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
They're diamonds. They're diamonds now, Matt.
They are diamonds. Excuse me. They are no longer Doritos. So because I think it's, as you said, it's a compound issue with tons of different reasons for why the passive spotting system is as strong as it is. They've got smoke everywhere. There is you shoot an RPG and things, the entire screen is filled for about 10 seconds, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's cinematic. But there's a lot of times where you just have to wait for that stuff to pass because you can't see what's on the other side. But it also means that it's hard to visibly see things. And so sometimes the passive spotting will see something in the little wisps of smoke and it will spot it for you, but it won't spot it for the other person.
Yes.
And so you're getting shot at and it sucks.
Yes.
But it also is I think it's there because it recognizes when you transition between outside and inside, it's hard to see at times. When you're traveling just down the street, there's a ton of foliage. There's rubble everywhere, and people could hide in that rubble like they had back in Battlefield 5, where it was a nightmare to actually visually see something. So I think they're trying to make it so that people can't hide as easily. So it's more, you want to have a first-person shooter. You want to have engagements. You don't want to be just getting, I didn't see that guy, I died. That would suck over and over again. Right. But then it run into the problem where we are right now, where you are shooting at these diamonds a lot. Yeah. And that can be off-putting at times. It didn't ruin it, but I agree.
Yeah.
They're trying to find a sweet spot, and I don't know if they've quite hit it yet.
I had the smoke situation happen as well, quite a few times, where smoke goes down in an alley, whether it's a smoke grenade or debris or from a thing. There's a bad guy on one end, you're on this end. You start and you get shot perfectly through the smoke. So you're like, okay, either that guy's got wall hacks or my diamond popped up through the smoke, which is most likely what happened. And so it just feels really unfair and really crummy. And I don't mind having a firefight through smoke. In fact, especially if you're like a support player and you can really probe with your
kind of
bullets
fun sometimes,
for the hit markers. And then you're like, I got that guy, haha, with my 100-round magazine. And so that can be kind of fun, but there's a lot of weird, I wouldn't even call them edge cases because they're pretty common. They come up a lot.
It does come up a lot. I would say shooting through, like getting the diamond through an actual smoke screen doesn't happen too often. I actually found this, like if I throw down smoke and I can run across that street pretty reliably.
Yeah.
So like I think they've done a better job of not allowing people to just straight up spot through smoke like past battlefields. But it does happen, which is annoying, but it's not like every goddamn time. Like before.
I felt bad for this guy because he was in Cairo. There's some kind of potted bushy areas, plants and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And this guy was straight up, he was crawling through, he was waiting for a squad to spawn on him because I killed 2 or 3 of his squad mates, and I was like, I know there's another dude around here. And he hid really well. I wouldn't have seen him except his diamond popped up. And I just shot at the diamond and killed him. And in that moment I was like, that sucks. He hid really well. You should be able to hide in this game, but you can't really. Right now.
It'd be interesting if they made it so, depending on the stance of a soldier, if it would affect the potency of the spot, where maybe it had a longer delay or something where it wouldn't show as often, or you'd have to like look at them, like you'd have to like directly look at them for the icon to pop up. I don't know. As I said,
there's a huge logic tree that probably goes into these types of systems where they go, okay, if the guy's prone, put a delay on the spot where maybe it would normally pop up right away, but now if they're prone, it takes an extra half second. Or if they're in a bush, maybe we adjust the auto spotting logic a little bit further. And so you have to have like 100 different contingencies and modifiers to a spotting system. And I have no doubt that it's already very complex, but they really need to spend some more time with it and dial it in, I think, because otherwise it's nice in that it speeds it up, like you said, keeps the gameplay kind of moving, and it reduces the frustrations of we don't want another BF5 where you can just go prone in any pile of rubble and nobody can see you, and then you just
because that sucked.
Yeah, and so that sucks. So you don't want it that bad, but you also don't want it spotting everybody. So it's just really about dialing it in, because I think we still need gameplay where players can sneak around.
Yeah,
I think that's an important part of any military shooter is like, all right, let me stand up against these bushes. I'm wearing green clothes, and let me prone crawl or crouch walk slowly. And hopefully that'll reduce the odds of somebody seeing me. Right.
Yep. Agreed.
And BF5 is like, nah, you don't get that right now. Like, that's not an option. So it needs to be an option, especially on like, Liberation Peak, when all you have to do is like look into the hills and it's like spot. And you're like, okay, I didn't see those guys until the diamonds all popped up. Now I see all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. But thanks.
I hear in sniper duels on Breakthrough on Liberation Peak, I tried swapping out the magnified scopes so I could get rid of the scope glint. Cause I was like, man, I'm just like, it's too easy to see me if I got the scope glint. And I started playing around with irons or red dots and whatever just to mix it up, and I was still getting seen super easy from like everybody all the time. And I was like, oh, okay, it's just this super aggressive spotting. Like, there's not a lot you can do.
Yeah, it could be
about it. So anyway, I think those are kind of like the bigger things right now. I think spotting can absolutely be dialed in. I think the color grading stuff can all be dialed in. I think classes are going to be tough for them to like make it as good as past Battlefield games, but hopefully they can band-aid fix it enough.
You say good, but then you just dunked on Battlefield 3 and 4's classes. So.
I meant as good as BF1 and BF5's classes, I would say.
That's fair.
I think BF1 was the best, but they also didn't have to deal with assault rifles, so they sort of had a pass on that.
Yeah.
BF5 dealt with assault rifles, but I think they did a really good job with it. And
I agree.
What I liked so much about BF5 was just like, they didn't have to relegate every class to like, well, you only get this gun, this type of gun, and that's it. They would like throw in a few oddballs here and there for your classes, and you'd be like, oh, I can try out a DMR with this class that normally doesn't get DMRs. Cool. Like, and then you just get these fun little play styles that could pop up for you, and it was cool, and you were the only class that got it. I was watching a morphologist's video on it, and he brought up an interesting point too, which was there isn't really any differentiation between the sides in this game. Like
The sides?
the two teams, the factions, right?
Oh.
I
You
think,
want there to be?
well, I mean, the visually they're really similar, same exact weapon pool, and then like the vehicles also. I think they share a lot of the same vehicles too. You know,
I think the vehicles are the same. Yeah, I don't think there's no like attack helicopter variant between, like, because in Battlefield 4 you would get the like Apache versus whatever the Russians were using, the big tank helicopter for their attack helicopter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there wasn't, but also back in Battlefield 4, like the only real, I think, or maybe even maybe it was Battlefield 3. There was only, I think, the starter weapon, which was different, and then everything else was exactly the same. So past Battlefields never really had big giant differences between the teams.
They definitely did.
Well, explain what they were, because I don't remember.
So like, I mean, BF1, very stark difference in uniform styles, and then
well, the uniform style is very different in this. The uniform, like one is using tan uniform, the other one is like dark and black uniforms.
BF3, well, BF1, a lot of the tanks and stuff were very different in most of the games. BF3, BF4, different tanks for different factions, different helicopters for different factions.
Definitely different helicopters, yep.
Different jets, I believe, as well. Some of the games had faction-specific weapons. Not all of them.
Like I said, Battlefield 3 had one gun, which was your starting weapon. You get the M16 or I think the AK, depending on which side you were.
Oh, yeah.
It was only one. I'm almost positive.
Yeah. Anyway, it was an interesting point that I didn't think about while playing, so I wouldn't like bring it up as like a huge critique, but just one of those things where you're like,
no, it's fair.
Oh yeah, like there isn't really a huge amount of personality to the factions or like massive recognizable differences between them. You're just like, oh, it's the guys with the red marks and the guys with the blue marks.
I mean, the really the biggest difference is their camos. One is using tan uniforms, the other one is using like a darker camo. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Did you see that stat where they said they banned like 300,000 cheaters from the game already?
Well, they stopped 300,000 people from cheating.
They stopped.
They stopped it. They're just like, yeah, you can't know. They recognized that someone was trying to cheat and it just didn't let them or something, according to the wordage.
That said, I've seen a lot of posts showing people cheating so far in the game.
I've seen people cheating online. I did not experience it once in the game.
Yeah. If it was happening while I was playing, then it was subtle. You know, it wasn't somebody going like 90 and 2 or something like that.
Yeah, no one was going crazy.
Yeah. But it's hard to know, right? Because we're going, oh, well, they just 3D spotted me through smoke, and that's how they shot me perfectly. Or maybe there's an aimbot or a wall hacker. Like,
possible.
Hopefully they're on it. I read an article where they estimated that the cheat industry right now generates like up to like $73 million a year in terms of like how much they sell cheats for and all that stuff. And you're just like, man, that's a big
not
industry.
As high as I thought it would be.
Really?
But yeah. 73 million's a lot, but like for every game out there, I figured it'd be more than that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to factor in that metric into what that actually means in terms of how many people are cheating versus not cheating.
Right.
Yeah.
My understanding is
DICE
the
is on
secure
this,
boot. Yeah, the secure boot. I know people were not really too keen on because you had to go in your BIOS. Some people had problems getting in their BIOS and actually allowing. They turned secure boot on, then their PC just wouldn't even load up. But it sounds like the secure boot will just be another layer of protection. It's not going to stop it, but it's going to be another thing that makes it more challenging for people to cheat consistently. So fingers crossed that it's helping, and that may be why we experienced fewer in the beta. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. Like you said, I really didn't have any experiences that like stood out as like, oh man, there's something really weird going on in this match. There was very little of that. The only time that I felt suspect was when the TTK would just damage dump in like a single frame.
And that, I think, is a great discussion because, boy, did that happen a lot.
Yeah. I kept thinking I was dying to shotguns until the kill feed comes up, and you're like, oh no, that was like an assault rifle. And yeah. Instant, especially I would have stuff where I was like 3 to 4 shots into hitting a guy who would then turn, and then I would insta die from like 4 shots or 5 shots that just 1 frame damage drop. And I'm like, okay, so there's some netcodey stuff going on. People have been hooting and hollering about it for a while, and the devs have responded. And they're like, yes, we know stuff is not great. We're working on it. So that's good.
How did you feel about the time to kill? Because the time to death felt a little bit wonky. It was a little quick at times. But what do we think about the time to kill?
I thought TTK felt all right, to be honest. Some people are saying it could be a little longer. I guess I think I'd be okay with that also, to be honest. There's sort of just this little area where you're like, well, is it 4 or 5 shots to down a person with your average assault rifle, and like CQB, and like 4 is a little quick. 5 is kind of the generally what they go for, I think, with a lot of Battlefield games. But I think they could lengthen it up. It would slightly longer solves a bunch of problems. Extremely fast TTK is hard to deal with in regards to netcode stuff and giving players a chance to react. I have so many moments of, I'm getting shot, dip behind the corner. I'm behind the corner. I'm dead now on the ground because like just the damage is so quick and so immense. And your time of warning from starting to get shot to reacting to get shot is not enough. And that can really be helped by like 1 extra bullet to kill somebody. So, yeah.
And for those people that don't, so when we're saying time to kill versus time to death, time to kill is how long it takes you to take someone out and how that feels. And time to death is when you're on the receiving end. And in a perfect world, it'd be identical. Yep. If there was no server lag, if there was no problems with, ping or anything like that. But there can be times when the time to death feels a lot shorter because they were shooting at you, but it didn't notify you that you're getting shot at until it was too late. And then all of a sudden it just kind of, all the packets hit at the same time and it just feels like you got instantly killed, right? So that's where like netcode related issues come in. It's very complicated. I'm not going to act like I know all the like the nuance of it, but that is the difference between the two. Time to kill, I think felt pretty good. A lot of people were saying it was too fast and it needs to be like old Battlefields. And then it's like, well, have you actually played Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3?
BF3's TTK is insane. Like
Battlefield 4 is also really quick too because guns are laser beams. The one thing is that a lot of weapons in this do 25 damage up close, which is technically faster than Battlefield 4.
Yeah.
But the damage drop off is so fast in this game that you aren't even doing even close to 25. 10 meters out. If you go to the firing range and you shoot the thing that's 10 meters out, you do 21 damage. So your 25 damage bullet per shot is doing 21 only 10 meters out. So you need to be like in their face for this thing to do the full 25, which compared to Battlefield 4, they do 24 damage per shot. So
and I believe BF3 was even more aggressive than BF4. I believe.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've looked at the
They had a lot
stats.
of bloom and there was suppression and it got a little weird in that game.
BF3, dude, regularly I was dropping 3 people with a single mag from an assault rifle.
It was pretty nuts. it was I
can't think of too many other Battlefield games where I could triple drop somebody with the average magazine. Like that's pretty
I don't really want to go back to the days where, I don't want it to be too quick. But I'm not too bothered. What I'm trying to say is I'm not too bothered by the time to kill because except for those very extreme close range engagements, which do happen because the maps are small, as long as the enemy's 10 meters out, it feels a lot like Battlefield 4, at least for me personally. And I didn't mind that too much.
Yeah, I thought it felt pretty good. I think if they went slightly longer, and we're talking about just nudging the drop-offs a little bit, like I don't even know if they
or just dropping the top damage to 24, and that way up close it's not even a problem.
Yeah, for sure. I think they could nudge it a little bit on the longer side potentially, but otherwise, honestly, it feels very like I was enjoying it. I think the firefights were incredibly engaging. Like
I agree.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the weapons so far in the game?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, without doubt, there's some balanced stuff where like some guns are just better than others. Like huge surprise, every single game that launches is going to have that. But I was having fun with pretty much every weapon class. DMR's not my favorite, but
I was struggling with those too.
Yeah, they're a little better if you try and use them at really long ranges and like counter snipe with them. I found them a little more effective because you don't have a glint, and then you can like 2-tap somebody with a headshot at range if you got it on point. But other than those cases, they felt a little bit more limited in use. Assault rifles, very good, really enjoyable. SMGs, really fun. Hipfire's great, really enjoyable.
Yep.
Machine guns, found plenty of moments where I was just like, down an alleyway and getting like triples, and you're just like, damn.
I loved the LMGs. There are people online that said that they sucked, and I'm over here like, bro, like you can just as long as you're set up and as long as you're not getting caught where you are rounding a corner and you aren't aimed down sight, they are meaty and they will chunk groups of enemies. They can be so much fun.
Yeah, nothing more fun than sneaking up on a squad with their backs turned and you've got an LMG. You're just like, yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you throw a laser sight on there and you can start hip firing in CQB at a faster. So they can hold their own in close quarters if you set it up right.
Yeah.
I liked them a lot. They're definitely up there on my list of like most used weapon, I'm sure.
Me too.
Yeah. Bolt action, fine, enjoyable. Sniper glint, ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. That means, but I think one of the main problems with the sniper glint is that the glint should only appear if they're aiming at you within a certain degree range, right?
And if they're not, it's just like, is everything scary? I'm like running through the fields like, Jesus, how many are aiming at me right now?
It's supposed to communicate a sniper is aiming at you, right? And I think that angle is like, it's like 10 degrees or something crazy where you're just like, is so insane. So, one, they need to tone down the intensity of the glint. It just looks kind of fake and weird against the backdrop.
Yeah, it looks like a Christmas tree.
Yes. And then 2, they need to reduce that angle because it's just like, I wonder where the snipers are,
Yeah.
Just
I agree. I did think that snipers could use, I don't know if they had aim punch. Because I know in the at the play test that we experienced, I'm pretty sure there was aim punch for them. But there are so many times where I'm like hitting shots on a sniper and then they just get a headshot against me. I'm like, how are you doing that while I'm hitting you repeatedly? So I did find sometimes going against snipers to be a little frustrating. But also, it's good to have snipers that are solid. I don't want snipers to just be useless. I want them to be strong. But they're quick, they're mobile, they're like, it's the sweet spot mechanic is back. I don't know how I feel about that. Not really a big fan. But yeah, I'd say snipers are pretty good in the beta so far.
Yeah, and I think their usefulness is only going to get better on bigger maps and stuff too.
For sure.
Some of those big maps, I'm curious. The muzzle velocity on a lot of guns is pretty fast too, so it'll be interesting to see how that translates into the bigger maps as well.
Though there is bullet bloom in this game.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with it too, but it's not nearly as bad as like Battlefield 1. Yeah. Nowhere near like Battlefield 1.
When BF1 launched, it got a lot better over the course.
It got better,
game.
Yeah, it did get better, but it's still there's still a lot of weapon bloom in that game.
Yeah,
but
the technology wasn't as good, Matt. What do you want?
Yeah, the technology was exactly.
Yeah,
I think it meant that you still could take people out at longer ranges with weapons. But you were slightly less effective. Not even if you were like really accurate, you could control the recoil. But it also you could still take people out, but it incentivized you to use the weapon in the right situation, which is if you're using a close range or medium range weapon, you want to use in those engagements. And when you do, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But for those further ranges, it starts to become more lackluster. And I think that's okay balance wise. Maybe they could tighten it up a little bit on some of the guns because there are times where I just felt like I couldn't get a shot off when I wanted to, and that was a little frustrating. But by and large, I like the way the weapons performed. They felt pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're starting from an extremely good spot because we have to remember we're talking about a beta, right? And it's like we've played all the Battlefield betas for over a decade, right? And I mean, even like
this is one of the best, if
one
not
of
the
my
best beta.
Yes. Like, do you remember how bad BF3's alpha and beta were?
Oh yeah.
Holy
very
God,
very much so.
They were so bad that we remember them, right? Like we're talking like 2011 when it came out, like so long ago. And I vividly remember just how buggy, how crappy. The weapon stuff was all over the place. I remember it was like the first beta, DMRs in BF3 were like, you could like one-shot headshot people or something. It was just insane. You're like, what are these guns? This is crazy. I can't even... you're playing Metro on it. That was the map that they had. And you're just trying to push up the grass and everything would just insta-kill you. And you're just like, is this what we play now? You're just like army crawling through the whole map so you don't instantly die.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
Like people are saying that this plays like Call of Duty. I'm like, did you play those previous betas?
I will say BF1's alpha beta was pretty good though. BF1.
Yeah, well, that's because BF1 was actually like one of the best launches of Battlefield.
Yeah,
it was on schedule, exactly.
Also, let's give DICE some props for maintaining servers and joinability through what was an insane player base trying to get in.
I had no issues. I know there was a queue. But the queue for me didn't ever really last very long. And yeah, it's frustrating. Like the first couple hours I had people come into my stream and complaining about the queue. And they're like, why are devs doing queues? No one likes queues. It's like, they're not doing the queue just to kick you in the nuts. Like they're doing it because if there wasn't a queue, it would overload the servers for everyone playing. And then everyone would have a miserable time right now with like rubber banding and lag. So that's why they do it. It's annoying. I don't blame you for being annoyed, but
also the queue didn't last that long. Like it would be 10 minutes really or something. I go make some tea or something, come back.
It really wasn't that bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, think about all the game launches we've been ready for on launch day. And you're just like, so like 4-hour queue to get in. All right, let's play this while I try and stay in queue. Oh no, it crashed. I'm not in the queue anymore. Dang it. Like, this is a beta. It is incredible. So, I mean, from a tech standpoint of like everything working, I never crashed out of the game once.
I did have a moment where I got an infinite load and I had to Alt F4. That happened to me and I think some other players. Which was a little frustrating. And I did hear some people crashing, but you're right. Server infrastructure felt solid. Other than a couple of netcode related issues, I wasn't rubber banding really at all. I think I had like one moment where I rubber banded, but man.
Performance is good, dude.
Playing past, performance was smooth. I had a solid frame rate. People on, worse PCs were saying like they were able to enjoy the game at a nice solid 60 FPS with good graphics. And from a technical standpoint, as betas go, it ran well.
Yeah. It's funny because next weekend there's going to be a few new game modes, I think, and then the one new map. I can't see him like super excited about the prospect of just one new map in the next beta, but it'll be good just to run it for a second weekend. Do you think they're gonna like do? They're probably gonna do a beta or a test of the battle royale or some of the other stuff before launch. I would imagine, right?
I would imagine.
Yeah, or maybe they'll just hot drop it. Maybe they won't talk about it.
It could be Battlefield Labs and that's it, and then they drop it. So
yeah,
I could see that. No true beta. Because I don't think it's coming out at release. I don't see the Battlefield Firestorm, whatever they're calling it, launching at release.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like personally, if I was them, I would want to drop things incrementally because you get like a nicer press wave. You get people covering all the classic multiplayer and then covering the new stuff that comes out, and then the single. Like, you want to spread out the single player, the multiplayer, and then like even the battle royale if you can, and give people some time to cover it and talk about it, and it probably works out better press wise. And also for developers trying to support products where they're like, you launch everything at once and then everything's got different weird competing issues. It's like just a nightmare probably trying to support it all and do it. It's like, nah, do it incrementally. It'll go better. So you're probably right on that front, but I'm excited, man. I think we got a good game coming up, and I think they've left themselves enough flexibility to pivot to what the game needs as they sort of start to get a good feel for it. Because truly the craziest thing about trying to design a Battlefield game is that you really just, as the developers, you don't really know what it's actually going to play like once the general public gets a hold of it. You have a good idea, you test it, but testing in public is very different because the public's like, I'm going to do everything in my power to like get an advantage, and that like it just takes it to a new level. And so yeah, I think they've made it flexible enough where if people are like, there's too many close quarter maps, okay, make an expansion, a DLC, whatever, like come out with your map pack, your seasonal content that's just big maps, start tipping the scales more towards the larger maps and find the right balance. So I don't think they're locked into any bad decisions, and that's good. Aside from class stuff, which I don't think they're going to be able to fully fix, it's not a game breaker either. It's more of a just like, it could be better, but it's not. Yeah.
So I just want to say, this is, even though, because you're saying it's a beta, I want to temper people's expectations that we're going to be seeing a vastly different game at release in terms of, trying to fix maps and stuff like that. What we played is probably what we're going to get for the most part, but with maybe balance changes. So they might be changing some of the way the weapons perform. Maybe they'll adjust the class, what classes get different gadgets and things like that. But the maps are not changing. Like some people are like, oh, it'd be really great if there was an objective inside of the mountain.
They're not going to change that.
It's not happening. It's not happening. So really big changes won't occur. It could give them the time to start working on those changes, but pretty much what we're getting, or what we played, is relatively what we're going to get at launch. So, but what we got was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So I ain't really too flustered about it.
Yeah, I agree. It's fun. I'm sad that the beta's over because I'm like, I want to jump back on and shoot some people with the machine gun right now. Just talking about it, I was like, yeah, that was nice. I want to get back on Cairo and just mow down some alleyways. It's solid. It kind of I was thinking about this a little bit today, but like, we've been playing Battlefield games forever, but we've been away from this sort of modern combat stuff for a little while, like 2042 kind of ish, but there's just something about the vibe, the weapons, the something that I don't think you can get outside of BF3 and BF4. Like, I don't think they've recreated the exact same feeling of the firefights and the gunfights. Like, even 2042, you're like, well, it's got a lot of similar weapons and stuff. And it's like, it didn't feel the same though. It just felt different. Yeah. There's just something off about it. And so this is like, it really does feel like I'm jumping back into BF3 and BF4 to a certain degree. I'm like, I'm having the same firefights that I used to have. And it's like this fun little hidden nostalgia. I think they rediscovered their little secret sauce there,
Yeah, I agree. It's so immersive too, and like the explosions and stuff like that. I had a helicopter crash, hit the ground, everything on the ground like rubbled. It slammed into a building, half the building fell down. I was like, this is freaking ridiculous right now.
Heli crashes look insane.
Yeah. I know people are saying that the maps are chaotic, and that was definitely true for the first couple of days when people are getting used to it. But one thing I really liked is that while you still get shot from different angles, I felt like I was in control over, for the most part, what was happening around me. I could, like, if I was with my squad and we were going down an alleyway, or we were heading towards an objective, or I was going what have you, I wasn't just getting hit from every goddamn direction.
Yeah.
I felt like I could control, at least for the most part, if I was observant of my mini-map and I was aware of my positioning on where engagements were coming from, and I could use that to my advantage.
Yeah.
The reason I bring this up is a lot of people are claiming that this is, and I know I'm harping on this a little bit, is that it's like ground war from Call of Duty. And I don't know if people played ground war, but I never felt like I was in control of my surroundings. I felt like I was dying in every single angle.
Yeah.
That is true chaos. No one was playing the objective. Of course, you can't even revive in that game. They're like so different. And so
I don't understand that analogy at all. Ground war.
I don't either.
Really different.
I should probably stop bringing it up because I just, but that's one thing I did like, is that once I started to understand the maps, it did feel like I was in control over what was going around me. And I really like that. Another thing is that while the maps are small, maybe you noticed this, people actually defended objectives. Probably because they're smaller and people could actually get to them
quickly. Yeah,
you could get to them quicker, and it took a while to take a points. And so there was actually some like fights when you were getting on points, which sometimes is just completely missing in past Battlefields. You would like run to a point, maybe there was like one guy there, you'd take it, and then there's nothing else, right?
Ghost capping was pretty bad in some Battlefield
it's prominent
games.
It's very prominent in past Battlefields, like real prominent.
Mhm.
And so I know that some people are a little disappointed in the smaller maps, but I felt like was kind of a interesting side effect of it, is that people reinforced and you actually had to fight over those points instead of just it being a free cap like it a lot of the time was in past Battlefields.
Yeah, I felt that as well. There was a lot less easy caps, and I didn't often push on a point solo because I'm like, man, people are going to spawn here and just kill me, and it's going to be time wasted. So I would try and stick with a squad or work with people a little bit more, as opposed to just like solo capping points and getting all these objectives for my team and feeling like the game's not really being played properly, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Did you you're talking about like the immersion and the sound and all that stuff. I turned off the tinnitus setting in my sound. Did you do that?
I didn't turn that off. No.
I turned it off, and I didn't do a lot of testing back and forth, but it gets rid of that ringing effect after a massive explosion.
Uh-huh.
So I was just like, well, I'd like to be able to hear guys as opposed to like,
that's fair.
Big explosion. Oh, I can't hear anything. Oh, you're dead. No.
I didn't actually really notice the tinnitus effect too much, but maybe I just got so used to it. I don't know.
Yeah. So I turned it off and was just like, oh, I can just hear stuff now.
I can just hear things.
I was sort of surprised that they gave me that as an option, to be honest. I was like, it seems like just a flat advantage, but I don't know. I want to play with it more. The sound was good in the new Battlefield.
I'll have to try that. I thought the sound was great. You can hear footsteps of people running near you, not like super far away, but you can hear footsteps, and it gives you that little bit more of information. If you look at your minimap, you're like, that's not a teammate around that corner. That's an enemy. Yeah. Maybe not quite as immersive as some of like Battlefield 1, because it's not a World War game and it's a fictional a fictional combat encounter. But damn, dude, when you got explosions happening around and your team is pushing a street and there's just things flying, it's super cool.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really excited to see some of the big maps. I think that's what I'm most excited for at this point, is just like, okay, now what does this look like on a big ass map? The Operation Firestorm or whatever that other big map that they're making is. Like, what?
I do need to mention, vehicles are weird, especially the air vehicles and the helicopter. I tried to get those helicopters to work, and they are made out of freaking styrofoam. They die unbelievably quickly.
Well, it doesn't help that the engineer gets both the AA and the normal one.
And that's so a very good point.
Yeah.
And I think they said that won't be in the game when it comes out. I think they made a dev vlog a while back saying that they're going to remove that, which good.
Yeah.
But even still, I mean, you just don't survive. Like literally like one stinger and that's it. You're a goner.
The attack helicopter is clunky. And the RPGs are fast.
They are quick.
They're fast. They feel faster than past Battlefield games. So it's easier to hit things with them. And so you got a big slow moving chopper and a fast moving RPG. We were hitting them before when we had crappy RPGs, and now they're even slower targets. So now it's just like, forget it. So I think they got some work to do with air vehicles for sure to get the balance right. They've never had an easy time balancing air vehicles.
And I want to make sure, I don't want them to be as good as Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4. Sorry, chopper pilots. You don't deserve to have a vehicle where if you master it, you become an unkillable god. Sorry. Like, I know it's a skill stealing thing, but no, I don't care.
I'm okay with BF3, BF4, but it's got to...
There is literally Little Bird pilots that never died. They were literally... Didn't matter how many Stinger missiles, didn't matter how many people were after these guys, they just literally never died.
But did you ever see some of those guys fly? Sometimes you see them fly, and you're like,
I know.
This guy is a demigod.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Literally, they've mastered the craft of flying those vehicles, and like, congratulations, you beat the game. But I don't think it's a good design to have a skill ceiling that high for a vehicle that makes you practically unkillable.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't think that's good game design. They
I
should
agree.
be powerful and they should be strong because they're a vehicle. But I don't think they should be unkillable gods, which they were so cracked in Battlefield 4 in particular with the little bird that it just became frustrating to fight them. It just wasn't fun.
Yeah. There was too much OP stuff, and I think if they stick with like the idea of like making vehicles okay if you're a solo driver, but like decent if you have some good teamwork and coordination.
I think they should not just be decent. I think they should be strong in a team. I think that teamwork, and if you're working together, they should be powerful, just not unkillable gods.
Yeah. There's a lot of they've always struggled with this. It's always been a hard thing to do. And right now they feel clunky and not particularly enjoyable.
Yeah.
There's just like, as soon as there's a few guys with stingers who are like, I don't like you and I want to kill you, there's not too much you can do. Like, you really have to kill them immediately. That's your only defense, is to kill them before they kill you, because you're just too slow and cumbersome to get out of there.
And I could just be bad, but playing as the gunner, it's really hard to kill infantry. It sprays all over the place. It's not like a precise shot where you're aiming. And so I was having a hard time actually taking out infantry sometimes because I just couldn't do the damage I wanted to.
I got about 30 seconds in the gunner seat before my pilot crashed.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I'm shooting it and I'm dead. All right. No feedback there from me. I felt the tanks were okay. The tanks were fine. People were saying they're too weak. And I was like, it's just BF3, BF4 tanks to a degree in terms of like how weak they are, but the power of their guns is crazy. Their machine guns are so much better than they were in BF3, BF4.
They're strong, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I was in the gunner seat on the Abrams at the beginning of a breakthrough round while we were on attack. I think I did like 35 kills between the first and second objective. And I was just like, what is happening right now? Like, this gun is so good. It was just a machine gun, and all the diamonds popping up. I was just laser beaming everybody. I think they need to actually nerf some of the gunner seats on tanks because it's really good.
Which is interesting because you talk to other circles and they're like, no, the tanks are trash because they're slow. If engineers are shooting RPGs at them, like the engineer, I think a lot of the animation in this game need to be slowed down. Like the grenade animation, swapping between your rocket, like you can reload rockets unbelievably
so
quickly.
fast. So
you're like, oh, there's another and another one. Like,
and
it's
I
crazy.
think the engineer upgrades their ability to reload. I think
it increases it by 15%. Yeah.
So you're like, you thought it was fast before. Check this out.
Yeah.
No, I have clips of just downing tanks so quickly because you're just like, oh, they're unaware of me. I'll shoot another rocket in like 5 seconds flat. It's insane.
And if you get behind a tank and it does like 70% of their HP, just shot and they're gone. Like, it's just money, right?
Yeah.
So I do see where people are coming from, where you're not able to just push up onto a point as a tank and take it reliably, because if there's an engineer behind you, like, you're dead. Yeah. So you do have to take it a little slower. You have to like kind of push with others. You need to have repair.
That's how it was in BF3 though. That's really how they worked. Also, we're not testing the next tier of anti-vehicle weapons yet, or the upgraded vehicle stuff, like active countermeasures and stuff where they can shoot.
We don't have any customization yet for vehicles.
Yeah, so that's going to change things up massively as well. Because if you can hit a button and be invulnerable to rockets for like 5 to 10 seconds, it's going to be a big deal.
Massive.
Yep. And yeah, we don't know if other classes are going to get some crazy like limpet mine type thing or whatever. You know, we don't know what's coming, but hopefully, fingers crossed, there's not like a big old plethora of indirect fire weapons that come out. Because I swear, DICE just gets bored and they're just like, I don't know, here's a thing that kills everybody around corners, or like you can just shoot mortars from your spawn or something. And
the worry I have is mortars are going to be, I think mortars are pretty much confirmed to be back from people that played labs, and I'm not excited about that.
I abused those so much in Battlefield 1, dude. Like, they were so good in Battlefield 1. I think I probably played support more than any other class because they could do everything. They could kill tanks with their limpet charges. They had incredible guns, infinite ammo. and indirect airburst mortars that were just stupidly effective. I would drop it before every engagement and be like, oh, there's a guy there. Why would I shoot at him? Let me put down a mortar first, kill 3 guys of his squad, and then clean up the rest with my machine gun. Just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that doesn't come back. As much as I did abuse it, I don't want it in the game, you know?
Yeah. Normally you don't want to have engagements or encounters where someone is able to kill someone from across the map with no risk of their own. Right? It's why mortars are rough. It's why UCAV is a terrible design.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
The worst. Yeah. We don't want realism that makes it crappy.
Right.
Yeah. You're like, well, in real war, they've got all this. You're like, yeah, we don't want it.
But it's not a video game. You want it to feel authentic, not real.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I'm pumped for the next weekend. I think we've said, I mean, I don't have anything left to say about Battlefield other than I'm excited for it. So
I think I think my general thoughts, I stepped away from it incredibly positive. I think that this is on track to be a very good Battlefield game. And I'm just hoping that when we actually finally get to play on bigger maps, that it scratches the itch for people that want bigger maps, because man, this foundation is really good so far for my personal tastes.
Yep. I agree. I'm with you on it, and I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what they cook up with the Battle Royale, which I know is not the Battlefield fanboy thing that you're supposed to say, but I am excited to see what it is.
Hey, be excited for what you're excited for.
I'm like the biggest fanboy of Firestorm, dude. I think that was like
you are,
and like in my soul, it hurts that game mode didn't do well. I'm like, it was so good, it had so much potential, and they just dropped it. So it's like, it's stuck with me. And now I'm like, if Firestorm 2.0 is great and it's free and it's good, like, I'm so excited for it to do well. So I hope it's good. I really hope it's good.
Agreed.
You want to talk about some non-Battlefield stuff for a second?
Sure.
Yeah. Did you hear that Sony is suing Tencent for their Horizon Zero Dawn clone? Did you hear about that?
Oh, are they actually doing it?
Yeah. So they're, which I'll be honest, I'm excited about, because I think Tencent has just been pushing it lately, where they're in bed with all these publishers, right? EA, Ubisoft, any big publisher. They're trying to buy up companies left and right. They're trying to control the whole game industry. And then when people get in bed with them, Tencent's like, yeah, we're just going to copy your entire game. And they go, oh.
That game, I'm looking at pictures. It just looks right. It just looks like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Well, and I mean, the backstory to it, Matt, is that Tencent approached Sony and said, can we license your IP to do an Asian version of Horizon Zero Dawn? And Sony said no. And I think they had already started assuming that Sony was going to say yes. And then we're just like, all right, we'll just rebrand it as our own game. That's exactly the same thing.
I'm looking at pictures. It's like a 1-for-1. It's crazy.
So I'm excited about this, not because I like lawsuits and plagiarism, but because I think the game industry has had some really bad precedents set within lawsuits that have allowed publishers and game developers to feel so much more free to copy other people's work. Just like straight up lifting ideas and concepts and all this stuff and be like, well, our game has squares and theirs has circles, therefore it's different. And you're like, it's the exact same game, you know?
Right.
You just copied it. And they get away with it because there's some stuff that happened early on that set the precedent for what is okay and isn't okay. And devs have just been pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And Tencent especially has been pushing it. And I really hope that Sony sues their pants off for this, and it sets a new precedent that says, hey, maybe you should innovate and make your own shit. You know, like I'm mad about it.
I don't want it to be setting a precedent that is, I don't want gameplay to be copyrighted, right? Like I don't want it to get to that extent, but when you're straight up like the style, the gameplay loop, like the visuals, everything is practically a 1-for-1. Like, yeah, you need there needs to be some checks. There needs to be some like, no, you can't be doing this. This is nonsense.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Yeah. So I hope it goes in Sony's favor. I'm not like a Sony fanboy or anything like that, but somebody needs to stand up to Tencent. And to be honest, there's not going to be a lot of publishers left to do that down the road, you know?
True. Very true.
Yeah, like what is some little indie studio going to be like? You're stealing our game, and then they're just going to lawyer the crap out of them for like a decade until they run out of money. Like, no, it's not going to happen.
Sounds about right.
You need Sony to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm excited to talk about is and I won't do spoilers, but I read the book that you recommended, Matt. Project Hail
Mary, baby. Good, right?
Yeah, fantastic. Loved it. Same author as The Martian. Gary Weir. What is it? I forgot what his name is.
Andy Weir, maybe.
Andy Weir.
I can't
you're
remember.
right. You're right. I think it's Andy Weir. It's a fantastic book. You told me not to watch the trailer, at least until I read the book.
Do you agree now?
I 100% agree. The trailer's fantastic. You know what's funny? So I can tell you the time code for the trailer because I showed it to Natalie, and I was like, and I cut it off before it got to the spoiler part of the trailer.
Yeah.
So it's like the trailer's like 2 minutes, 30 seconds long, maybe something like that. At the 2-minute mark, that's when they spoil a really important reveal in the book. A very exciting and cool reveal that would suck to have that knowledge before going into it.
Yeah.
The trail, they just couldn't help themselves, man. Like,
I think it's because like a big part of the book revolves around that spoiler, and and you want to set the expectation for the viewer of what they're getting into when they're going into a movie. So I kind of get why they did it for the trailer, but like if you are anywhere interested in like a really really good sci-fi book, then I recommend not viewing the trailer. And or if you're gonna go see the movie, just go see the movie and not watch the trailer. Because I remember reading the book and then like I go for walks when I was listening to the audiobook, and I remember like slowing down when I was like, holy God, where is this going? Right? Like, it was really fun. It was just it's a fun read. It's a blast.
It's fun because it comes from the author of The Martian, and he kind of approaches sci-fi with a really technical angle of like, we're going to science the crap out of it, and anything that happens in this universe has to be explained and understood. There's not going to just be, set shields to maximum power or some crap. There's none of that.
Yeah. He does it in an approachable way. I'm sure if you are much more science prone, you're probably rolling your eyes at some of like the science and stuff. But for a layman's, just average guy, it's very effective in portraying the story in a fun way.
Yeah. I thought it was great. Really fun. I'm excited for the movie. I think Ryan Gosling's an excellent choice for the lead. And from the trailer,
especially because it's a little goofy. It's a little goofy book too. Yeah,
the main character's goofy too. He's sort of it helps when you're stranded in space to have a little bit of humor about the situation. Otherwise, you're just like, no, it's a serious book and we're just stranded in space. And you're like, okay, well, now we're just serious and alone. That's not fun.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they do the flashbacks too.
Yeah, so I thought that was great. I reread Hatchet with my son. He got old enough. You ever read that one?
I remember parts of it. I remember him going underwater and seeing a body.
Yeah, that's funny that you remember that part.
Probably because it traumatized the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's kind of the scary part in the book. We were in a bookstore and I saw the 30th anniversary edition of Hatchet, and so I bought it. And we finished it. Jeff and I finished it. And
how was it?
It was good. It was really fun rereading it with my kid, who's like all into it. He's like on the edge of his seat, and he's like, "How is he gonna do that?" And like, he's building a bow and arrow and hunting stuff, and it's just like it was fun getting back into it. So yeah, it was good. It was good. It holds up, and now we're gonna read some of the other Hatchet books. There's like,
I didn't even know there was more.
Yeah, he does one called Brian's Winter, which is like if he doesn't get rescued in the end, then like
a what if
he was stuck there for the winter, and what would he do to survive? So that's
cool.
A good one.
I like survival games for that reason, right? Like it's a what if. What would you do? How would you survive?
Yep. This is like before there were survival games. There were survival books. Yeah.
I
don't know, unless you count Lump Oregon Trail into the survival game category.
God, I loved Oregon Trail.
Wasn't Oregon Trail good? Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
The thing is that there was more than one, and I didn't realize that when I was a kid, and so I had my dad buy me Oregon Trail, And I played it and I was like, this isn't the same Oregon Trail that
I
I
didn't
played in
realize
school.
there was more than one either.
There's more than one. I can tell you that much because I got a different one and it wasn't as good.
You got the Tencent knockoff Oregon Trail.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, what is this?
Maybe.
Why is everybody an anime character? All right.
There's waifus in this Oregon Trail?
I've watched a bunch of stuff. Did I tell you? Did we talk about Thunderbolts yet?
No, I haven't seen it. The new Avengers.
The new Avengers. Yeah, I've been waiting for a Marvel movie to not suck for a little while. You know, they've kind of lost their magic, and I heard that Thunderbolts was pretty good. And
Return to form.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. It wasn't like, oh my god, this is the new thing, but I liked all the cast. The writing's fun. Good blend of action and comedy together. It's sort of pulling all the Marvel punches that you like.
Yeah.
The main story was a little wishy-washy here and there. And it kind of ended on a underwhelming way to conclude a thing. I don't know. It just,
okay.
I can't really say much without giving away massive spoilers, but
yeah.
Other than just kind of a weird little way to end the film, I thought it was fun and good, and I'm down to watch more of it. There's sort of like the there's like a funny article at the end of the movie where they're called the B-Vengers, you know, because they're like not as good as
because they're not the Avengers, they're the B-Vengers.
The B-Vengers. So like that's like kind of a big bit of the humor is they're all kind of crappy. They're not really good. They've all got emotional issues. They're not like these strapping, handsome superheroes. They're like, yeah, we're sort of like, I didn't want to be here, man, but now I'm here. So that's fun, and they play with that a lot.
I played Grounded 2.
Yeah. How is it?
It just came out in early access for Game Pass, and it's
reminded me.
It's
of
Grounded
this.
1.
Grounded 2. I don't remember.
It's Grounded 1 is a fantastic survival game. If you haven't played it, it's finished. It's amazing. Would recommend. Great game. Grounded 2 is more of the same, but with some tons of quality. I mean, maybe they've done a lot of this in Grounded 1, but man, there's so many great quality life changes. You press like a button when you get to your base and it just chunks everything into your boxes that like if there's like an item in that box and it will put like similar items into that same box, right? So you don't have to go through and like organize everything every time you come back. It will take items from the box and you can craft with it, which is finally becoming standard in like every survival game. If you're near like a station, base building is a lot more fluid. Lot of great stuff. The one big change is there is now mounts called buggies. You basically will raise a bug and it will then become your mount.
I love that.
There will be different kinds, and you can also use them in combat too. So you can I had a soldier ant pretty much the entire time. And he can tank shots for you. You can use it to ride around quickly around the map. And he's great for base building because he can chop down leaves or chop down grass a lot faster than you can. And you can just get a bunch of building material very quickly with your buggy, which was fun, right? So it just felt more streamlined. My only real quick critique is that because the map is so large, I never really felt like it was as tailored. You were running around a lot to like point to point, but didn't feel like in the first game you would kind of move from like not biome, but you would kind of go from like one general area to another. It was a lot slower, but because of that, it felt more curated. This didn't feel as curated yet, but I think that's also because it's an early access. And I don't want to, knock on it too hard because I think it's got still a long ways to go. But yeah, it's basically more Grounded 1.
Cool.
But Grounded 2.
Well, that's cool. I like it. I'm a fan of whenever devs are like, we have a good game here. Now let's use the sequel to do all the things to fix all the things that we really wanted to get done for the first one, but we just didn't have the time or budget or whatever to like push it that far.
Though they did have some encounters that really pissed me off. There was a boss or enemies or two that they would attack, and then they would immediately
was too slow.
Yeah, and then they would immediately backstep. And so I'd be like, okay, I block parry, and then I go for an attack and they're backstepping and I miss. and then I'm like chasing after them doing this, and
that's
I'm not hitting.
annoying.
I'm like, stop! What do you mean? They had their attack. It's now my turn to attack. This is the dynamic of the player and NPC. You've broken the rule, and I found that to be very annoying. I'm like, no.
It does sound
They get their
extremely
attacks off.
frustrating.
I then get my attacks off. Don't pull this nonsense. I hate it when games do that so much.
That's an AI programmer being like, I'm going to outsmart the player. Check this out. And you're like, but now it's annoying. Like,
now it just pisses me off. Exactly.
It's funny. I was in the game I'm making, our very first AI code was like, okay, the ship will try and maintain its distance from you really far away for like a lot of its attacks. And so you just spend the whole time chasing it down. And as soon as we just change that code to be like, nah, just have it be aggressive and go in close quarters, like, this is 1,000 times more fun in every single way. Like, it's just not fun chasing after something and like just trying to get a shot in here and there and all that. You're like, nah, just stand up and fight me, man. Fight me.
It reminds me of some Dark Souls style games where the boss will dodge your attack, and even if the developer accounts for that, so let's say they dodge 10% of your attacks, but you do 10% more damage or like significantly more damage to the boss, so that its health in the end, the boss compared to another boss takes just as long to kill. The fact that it dodges pisses me off so much because it feels like I'm just not doing damage and it's not fun. Like, I'm like, no, this was my turn to do damage. They have to take the damage. I don't know why in my brain I'm just like, this. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I get it. Yeah, no, that sounds very frustrating. Oh, that's funny. You said they made crafting improvements. What that lots of crafting games are doing. What was that exactly?
Where you don't have to take the crafting material out of the box and put it in your inventory to go to a crafting station. It will just, if it's within the vicinity, it will just take it from the vicinity and then craft it.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah.
It's a change that has been taking a while for a lot of survival games to implement, but it is becoming the standard, and it is one of the best additions to the survival genre in general, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I like that. It seems like we're sort of refining games a lot over time, where like the early prototypes or the early ways of doing things have kind of like clunkier, slower mechanics because people are inventing the thing for the first time, and they're just like, okay, you have to put it over here and do this. And then as we play with it more, things get more streamlined, and they go, okay, well, really the fun part of the game is going around and collecting the stuff. And then when we build it, it's not fun dragging crap into things. You're just
organizing boxes.
Yeah, that's not really fun. It's fun building the thing and then going and using it. So let's make the building part easy and that. So it's nice to see that. Now, Starfield takes the complete, or Star Citizen takes the complete opposite approach to that, where they're saying all those streamlined improvements that devs have made for years and years and years, making gameplay more fun and enjoyable.
We don't need that.
We're gonna go back to the roots when games.
It's gotta be real.
Yeah. You want to ship items? You're gonna move every single one of those items by hand and then re-inventory it. And you're like, oh, what am I doing? So you know, there's different ways to approach game development, and everybody's got their own thing. The
final note is I wanted to make about Grounded is it looks like it's leaning much more into the like role playing side of things with the you can almost make like a class. So there are like staffs and stuff that you can use, and you can like cast spells. You have daggers. They've got a sword and shield. You've got big two-hander. The two-hander is really good for stunning, and it's co-op. So you'll be able to play with buddies, and it'd be really cool to have. There's like a trinket that makes you more likely to grab aggro when you're going against monsters. So you could have the ladybug armor. You could have the ladybug armor set, which makes you more durable, while you've got an assassin in the back with daggers who are, stabbing the back of the. I actually think with co-op it'd be really fun. I think I really like that about it. It's cool.
Maybe that's Grounded 3 with co-op.
No,
they have
no
co-op
Grounded
now.
2 will have co-op. Yeah, Grounded 2 will have co-op.
Sick.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I didn't play co-op with it. That's all.
Did you have to kill a ladybug to get that armor?
Unfortunately, yes.
You monster.
You have to make some pretty rough decisions. There's these really adorable caterpillars, and they don't fight back, and you just hit them, and it's just like, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. I need to eat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's funny. I like that. What is Abiotic
Factor? It's another survival game.
Okay.
It's really good too.
Bro, we are in the era of survival games right now.
It just came out in 1.0. It's very different because it's like it's a very Half-Life-esque, early Half-Life game.
Okay.
Where you're in it's got some great humor, but you're basically stuck in a SCP lab like facility, and things are going badly. Really bad.
The graphics are hilarious. I love it.
Yeah. But those graphics allow them to like really have just a ton of different variety too. Mm-hmm. So there's like portals that will go to different worlds. One of them is called, God, what's it called? It's not Silent Hill, but it's basically Silent Hill, right? Like they're literally ripping off Silent Hill. So you'll be teleporting to different zones and encountering different worlds. Like completely
like
different
Rick and
worlds.
Morty meets Half-Life or something.
Kind of, yeah. That's an interesting way of describing it, but yeah, it's great. It's a survival game. It's really unique. I like it a lot. It's fun.
Cool.
I didn't put a ton of time into it, so I don't feel comfortable giving you like a complete review because I'm nowhere close to finishing it. But I understand why it's, I think, overwhelmingly positive right now on Steam because it's got great humor.
Holy crap!
Great base building and crafting.
27,000 reviews, overwhelmingly positive. Dang.
Yeah, it just came out in 1.0 as well.
Cool.
It was in early access for a while.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that looks cool. I'm going to check that out.
Yup.
Cool, man. Well, you want to wrap up the pod there? Anything you want to talk about? Any books?
No, that sounds good. Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah. Well, gosh, I guess next podcast we will have played the second weekend of the beta.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we'll have as much to say about it, but maybe we will. I don't think they're changing anything. I don't think they're updating or tweaking between.
Yeah,
betas.
I don't think they're going to patch anything. I'd be surprised. They want it to probably be as stable as they can get it.
Yeah. They're just working on getting the final game ready to go. Cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for dropping by the podcast. If you guys want to support the podcast further, you can check out our Patreon that will be linked in the description. If you become a Patreon member, you can come watch our podcast live, give us commentary. Atif likes that I gave Star Citizen crap while discussing Grounded 2. And then post podcast, we'll do a little off the record discussion that all Patreon members could be a part of. So anyway, all support is welcome, but either way, whether or not you become a Patreon member, Matt will always give you some important life advice.
My important life advice, especially if you're a Battlefield fan, is try out the beta if you haven't. If you're skeptical for Battlefield 6, if you didn't give it a chance this weekend because you're busy or you're just like, I'm done with Battlefield, I'd recommend giving it a whirl.
Yeah.
I know there's some critiques that people have had that it's a little bit too fast paced and stuff, but I'm really liking it, and I think it's worth trying out.
Cool. I second that. And I think that's a good note to leave on. So everybody, thank you so much for dropping by, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.